I want you to picture an artist. Could be a man, could be a woman. He has nothing prepared. No pen, no pad, no studio, no second take, just the rhythm, a microphone. They just came for blood. And a next person beside them, standing across from them, who wants to embarrass the shit out of them in front of everybody that he rates as an artist or she rates as an artist. And in that particular moment, with no time to think about what you're going to say, you open your mouth and you build something out of thin air. Remember I said it's just the rhythm running that nobody will ever forget. That, to me, is the highest art form in what we have. It's not the biggest song. It's not the most streams. It's not how many records you sold. But the man who can take this very second, right now, use what you're wearing, what just happened, what somebody just said, and turn it into a weapon. Turn it into a moment. Turn it into a tune. Turn it into a song. So today I'm asking a question nobody actually tends to ask. But this particular question breaks up every barbershop, every group chat. Today I'm asking the question from Kingston to the port of Spain, from Carriacou all the way over there to Barbados. Who is the greatest Caribbean freestyler of all time? That's my question. It's Soundboy Saturday. And I'm going to tell you this. When I started to kind of do my research on the greatest Caribbean freestyler of all time, I already made up my mind who I was going to say. I already considered who I was going to say. And by the end of it, I had to change my mind. It was somebody that I never expected it to be. But I had to be fully objective. I couldn't just, go with what I thought. I had to make it proper. So let's get into it. How I fell in love with freestyle and how probably everybody else fell in love with freestyle as far as this thing is concerned, as far as artists, etc. is concerned. Like I said to you people, this is Soundboy Saturday. My name is Cersei, in case you didn't know. And let's go on a walk through the realms of freestyle in the Caribbean. When I talk about this, I'm speaking from the heart. I'm speaking as a person that knows. I'm not speaking from the outside looking in. I grew up inside of this thing. So let's get to it. Before we judge who is the greatest freestyler, let me tell you how this whole thing begins. Because for most of us, it doesn't just begin on stage. It began in school. Somebody beating a rhythm in the playground. Somebody beating a rhythm on the desk at school. You know the way there. Somebody would be like, he's a miss man, I say he's a no man. He's a miss man, I say he's a no man. I mean, that's how it started for a lot of us. Somebody beating the desk with their hands, and you have to build up a rhythm on that time, And there'd be people in the background giving little ad-libs. Somebody beatboxing, them kind of way there. Somebody just running a rhythm. Somebody just, they couldn't do the beatbox. Some people couldn't do that. Somebody just run a bass line. And somebody, me, would come in with the lyrics, landing the wickedest punchlines, the maddest vibes. Every time, there would always be that one person that would always have the lyrics. I was one of them. I'm not going to say that I wasn't. But there were other people there that also had lyrics like that. So, and imagine, sometimes you'd build up the whole thing. Somebody'd have the beat under, somebody'd have the rhythm under, and somebody'd have the bass line going on, and somebody'd have the beatboxing going on. But even before that and before the lyrics, you had a thing called cussing match. In America, they would call it, I believe, snapping the dozens, tracing, You had to be able to retaliate. Nowadays, maybe they call it banter. You had to be able to retaliate in real time when somebody said some shit to you. You got to fire back. Somebody say, yo, Sarah, your mama. What? My mother? You had to be able to, you had to make it funnier than the other person. I'm not going to lie to you. I won some of those matches, and I lost some of those matches. I won way more than I lost. But that's how the whole art form began for me and probably for many, many other. And that's why a lot of times I say we does it because we love it. That's where the love started for me when it comes to freestyle. Anybody that told you that they never lost a battle, they have not battled enough. You're going to lose some and you're going to win some. And nothing wrong. There's nothing like watching. Nowadays they do memes on it, right? You're having a battle and somebody will say, blah, 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 I'm walking on, and the whole crowd says, hey! That was real life. It was like a drug. But that's where the love was born for me. How did the love start for you? That's a question. I want you to tell me in the comments. Your friends at school, to the parks, the playgrounds, the corners. In America, it would be the blocks. Obviously, in Jamaica, it's on the corners, on the ends. And then you take that to the sound systems. You meet people that ain't from your community, but they've heard of you. And they come with their different style and their different vibes. And you build what's called a cipher. And I'm going to tell you a story about the cipher a little bit later. But it's just different people that bring different vibes to the thing. You test each other, because steel sharpens steel. The circle gets bigger and the standard gets raised. Standard gets higher. And before you know it, you end up recording. But you realize that the gift is real. Because like we said, it's the graduation of your talent, the evolution of your talent. And now, before you know it, you're on a live microphone somewhere across the world. I'll give you one story. Like for me, being in India, in front of an Indian crowd, thousands of people, microphone, rhythm, freestyle, making it up on the spot. And so when I say freestyle, that's what I mean. I'm not speaking on some studio tune, a little trick where you use some bars that you wrote before and slap it in here, or I'm speaking about true freestyle. And this episode, we're judging it at its very highest form, which means we have to agree on exactly what it is. So you see the story I just told you? We're going to count this off on the fingers. What are the key elements of freestyle? 3 things at once. 1 thing comes off the top. No pre-writtens. This is my element of freestyle. This is what I use. No rehearsal. And you build it from the moment. In the room, on the rhythm, in front of the person in front of you. In front of the person in front of you. You know, whatever life drops on you right there and then, you have to make that in that moment. In the clash, in the war, the duel. Whatever you can use to finish that person in front of you lyrically. That's what we're going to consider when we consider who the greatest Caribbean freestyler of all time is. The great ones of us know that anybody can memorize bars. The gift is making it up while everybody's watching and make it sound like you've had it written for a while. So people, I hope I've done enough on explaining what the thesis is that we're dealing with today. We've set the bar, we've set the standard, and you can't talk about it without showing love to the foundation. None of this would be possible. None of these modern artists would be able to say freestyle unless we had the foundation artists. So first, let me tell you about who came before us, the elders. Because today we're when we're speaking of freestyle, I'm gonna tell you about the artists in a sec though. But let me tell you about the elders who came before us, who was doing this thing long before anybody even said the words rap or battle. Long before Hot 97. Long before 8 Mile. Long before any of it, we were already doing this in the Caribbean. In Trinidad, they gave the world a thing called extempo calypso, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Extemporaneous, made up on the spot. That's why these Trinidadians are so good at freestyle. Let me tell you how it works, right? The crowd or a judge throws a subject at you. Topic, subject, whatever. It could be anything, something happening right now in the country, something happening in the moment, whatever the subject is, and you have to sing perfectly, rhythmically, witty, cutting verses about it over a melody. Now, there's somebody else across from you trying to outdo you, trying to do one better, and that's the competition. It predates hip-hop, freestyle, quote-unquote, by generations. Think about that. Grandmaster of that, the man that everybody rates and says was the baddest at that, is a man called Lord Pretender, Alric Farrell, born in 1917 in Tobago, and he won the Calypso King crown in 1957. But the thing that tells you that he was a done at everything, and everything that you need to know when speaking on Trinidad and Tobago and Trinidad extempo and the extempo competition, and if you want to know all that you need to know on that, is Lord Pretender never entered. The general consensus was he was just too sick. So what's the point? They said, you can't enter this competition because you're too good. You're too dangerous. So what we gotta do is allow somebody else to get it. It wouldn't be a fair fight. And it was Mighty Sparrow that said it best. They said, when you think you have Pretender, he rests a hot piece of extempo on you, and it's done. So the greatest are saying he's the guy. Well, let's cross the water. Let's go to Jamaica for him. Our foundation comes from the sound system, the live microphone settings, and the purest of pure was Brigadier Jerry. Robert Russell, the voice of Jalov's music. Now, Briggy, as we told you, could hold a live microphone for hours, just chatting the lyrics, just chanting, reading the dance, don't repeat himself, just on that. And you know when Chip says, never run out of bars, Brigadier Jerry never run out of lyrics. In front of the people, using what was going on and just barring. He never really recorded much music in his prime. His gift wasn't to put things on wax. His gift was in the live settings, in the moment, in the session, in the sound, on the sound. And a little piece of history for you. Brigadier Jerry his sister Nancy's big brother. Bam bam dilang, bam bam. So you know the lyrics run in the bloodline. So I just gave you a little bit of background and understand that Pretender, Lord Pretender and Brigadier Jerry are not in the competition today. because they're the foundation. They're the groundation. They're the reason why us, I believe, have things like freestyle. And it means so much to. If a man picks up a microphone in our culture, a person picks up a microphone in our culture and pulls the magic out of it from nowhere, it's drawing inspiration from our elders, from our ancestors, whether he knows it or not. And we have to salute our ancestors every single time. So shall we get to the contenders in who's the greatest freestyler of all time of the Caribbean? Number one, Ninja Man, the most feared, the fan favorite. We've seen him in the clashes. We've seen him in the wars. If you grew up like me, the first name that jumps into your head when you hear the word freestyle and clash is Ninja Man. The Don Gargan, Desmond Ballantyne, out of Anato Bay, St. Mary. Before he reached Kingston as a youngster, let me tell you how it started. The same place all our greats started on the south. He DJ'd first as Double Ugly. Then he was Ugly Man on sounds like Black Culture and then Kilimanjaro later on. Black Scorpio, and the name Ninja Man came from Kilimanjaro's boss, Noel Harper. That gave him that for the way that he had that stuttering style and how he would slip in and out of the style and yeah, man, and just kill somebody from nowhere like a ninja. So it's like, you're a ninja man. What made Ninja Man a ninja wasn't a song. It was just the war. How good he was at the war, at clash, on stage. He was just a different animal. Hand grenade. He just had a way of drawing you in to destroy you. Then he'd drop a line. I'm not addicted to no drugs. He'd just do something to make the crowd go crazy. He was the king of reading the moment better than almost anybody. Champion Splash! He would use props. That's why I just said Champagne Splash was because somebody poured champagne on him in a dance and he created a whole song at that time, in that moment. The moment that sealed his legend, in my opinion, was Sting 1990. People are gonna probably say 91. But him and Shabba went at it. And Ninja Man said something like, yeah, my son, so I can't kill you. I'm gonna kill your clothes. And Ninja Man killed Shabba Ranks' clothes because he rated Shabba so much as Shabba was one of the youngers that he was bringing in. I mean, many people speak on the Ninja Man and Supercat clash. And of course, that was an epic clash. But this is how amazing Ninja Man was. After Ninja Man came Beanie, Bunty, all of them. But we fully know Ninja Man, and Ninja is a ninja. But I gotta be honest with you, Ninja Man's belt is easy. The belt that he's won, most feared clash assassin. Nobody can weaponize the moment or the microphone like Ninja Man can. The reality though is, I grew up watching this. This is what kind of made me want to be in this thing. But the crazy part of it is a lot of what made Ninja Man so deadly was that his ammunition was pre-prepared. He'd written these lyrics or in and around these lyrics before. They were already pre-written and aimed at other people. But he could turn the lyrics for that war at that time. So without question, Ninja was one of the baddest. But was it fresh? Artist number 4, Sizzla. Freestyle energy. You see, when Sizzla starts burn a fire, that's for your soul. You can't measure it. Cannot measure it. It operates on a different frequency. He's from Augustown, Kingston. You probably know this already. Bubba Shanti. He's a Rasta man. You know him. You see the turban. You see the fire. He has his own area, Judgment Yard. Came up on the Exterminator label. Great Bobby Digital. He won Single of the Year. Black Woman and Child was one of the greatest albums ever written. Preedy just shifted the whole direction of our people, of the music. Have you ever seen Sizzla on stage? When he decides he's gonna freestyle. Sizzla, the type of artist I would say, or the type of freestyler I would say Sizzla is a channeler. He'll channel the moment. So everything that's going on, and the whole moment will flow through Sizzla. He's one of the most prolific artists in the world, in history. But in that moment, on stage, the mic, and it's almost like a flow state. He just taps in to the spirit. No, we don't even tap into the spirit. He taps in, and the spirit speaks through him. It's in the moment, the energy of that. But it's not necessarily gonna be speaking about what just happened, this just coming, that type of thing. It's not that kind of freestyle. It's about the moment and the energy flowing through. So, remember, we set the standard. It's not combative. Yeah, he's been in 1 or 2 clashes, let's say that. He's not necessarily building lyrics to kill a man. He's channeling and not clashing. So the gift is a real gift from Sizzla. It's extremely rare, but it sits slightly left of what we're speaking on right now when we're talking about judging who is the greatest Caribbean freestyler of all time. So yes, does he have a belt? Pure flow state, rider rhythm? Absolutely. But we wouldn't say Sizzla is that guy. What about the global master? When I say the global master of freestyle, global. Because we said who's the greatest Caribbean freestyler of all time, you know. Let's talk about the largest, one of the largest islands in the Caribbean. This particular person took freestyle to the world. And we're speaking of Wyclef Jean, born in Haiti. Remember, Haiti is a Caribbean island. We're not just speaking of the English-speaking Caribbean islands. They speak Creole instead of Patois. But Clef built the Fugees, Lauryn Hill, Pras. The score in 96 was the biggest albums of all time, one of the biggest albums of all time. Grammy Award-winning, global superstar. All of them things that we got to say about Wyclef. But there's more, and here's what a lot of people don't know. Underneath the global superstardom of Wyclef is a clash, man. Wyclef came up on the sound system culture. Stone Love, them man there. Remember, he had dub plates for the Fugees. He's got Whitney Houston on a dub plate. Wyclef was a man that came up understanding war. So when Clef steps in to the cypher, it's war. It's not a pop star, bro. That's in his bloodline. He's here for war. So when we speak on Mr. Wyclef, gone to November. This is the brother that freestyled in 5 different languages on the 5 fingers of death. If you don't believe me, go and check it out. Houseway, one of the hardest ever. This brother, guitar in hand. Lyrics flipping in between languages like it's nothing. Cannot fuck with the versatility. That is frightening. As a freestyler myself, a man that can speak in French, in Spanish, English, various other... Yo, brother, where are you? Come out. Go ahead. Clef should really be running away with this, but be honest. But Clef's arena is the cypher, the union, the celebration. Clef is definitely trying to destroy everybody else in the cypher, but he's not really necessarily got to be the guy that's going to say, hey, pussy. He's not going after the war. So I would say, whilst Clef is one of the baddest, his belt is that he's the global guy. He's proved that a Caribbean voice can freestyle to the whole planet in 5 different languages. Mad love to Clef. The next one, the next artist, the in-the-moment genius from Trinidad and Tobago, my bridge. This is a brother I've shared the stage with. I know him personally. I have to say, by the way, just a little flex moment for me. That was Glastonbury in front of thousands of people. Shared the stage with this. He's one of the most recognized freestylers of the Caribbean of all time. I'm not speaking on a Wikipedia page though. I'm speaking of the brethren, the Viking of soca, Bungee Garlin, straight out of Arima, Trinidad and Tobago. Listen to how Bungee came, because it says everything about him. Arima, it's in the east-west corridor of maxi taxi culture, right? And those are the buses with the big sound systems blasting. At them time there would have been Jamaican dancer. So it's Buju, Super Cat, it's Shabba, it's Tenasa. So a young Bungee Garlin, this is, would have been on those buses, going to school, soaking in all of the vibes. Then, of course, like I told you, as it has been for all of us, you start off freestyling, then the clashing starts to come, general skullduggery, and Bungee had lyrical exchanges of what? Bungee Garlin, of course, you're going to have lyrical exchanges of what? Bungee speaks on where his traditions are, and he speaks on extempo being in his bloodline, and he called it the ultimate freestyle. He showed respect to extempo and what it is and what it means. So it goes all the way straight back to Lord Pretender. So Bungee, in my opinion, is what happens when you take extempo, the foundation, and then you fuse it with a bit of dancehall, fire, and then you just let it loose. The man can build a live show on the spot with lyrics about what's going on in the moment. I've seen it. I know you've seen it too. Crazy thing though. Bungee, in my opinion, does what most other artists that I mentioned today don't do. He takes that gift, he goes to stadiums and he performs it over and over again. He wins Soca Monarchs, Raga Soca Monarch, etc., etc. And then he drops tunes, Big Bad Soca, ready for the road, He drops big songs every single year. Normally you find with the freestylers that came up on the stages that they don't really record as much, but him, just as wicked on record as live on the spot. So Bungee is definitely there. But I believe personally, and Bungee, feel free to tell if you want, he outgrew Clash. He outgrew it just being a warfare, head-to-head thing and battles. He just became a phenomenon. But make no mistake, in the moment, you don't want it with Bungee. You don't want no kind of smoke with Bungee. So Bungee wins the belt for in the moment genius. He's a genius in the moment. And he took freestyle global. He made freestyle songs global, and that's how he writes as well. So now we get to the final one, the dark horse, the purest, but I have to speak right. He's earned his right. Another brother that I've shared a stage with, we've been on the corner freestyling together. This is a brother which I couldn't, once I started writing the rules for this competition, I couldn't exclude him. Preedy, Akeem Charles from Maloney Gardens, East Trinidad. If you don't follow Trini Carnival closely, you might not know him. Or if you do follow Trini Carnivals, you may know him as a soca artist. He's a serious soca artist. If you listen to soca, he's a serious soca artist. You may know, or you may not know, that he has penned music for Machar Montano, Patrice Roberts, for Nyla Blackman, and this is all before he stepped out in front of the stage for himself. Second place in Soca Monarch, a tune called Veteran, back in 2016. So he already has heady, but that's not why he's here. He's here because of this. Preedy, he's right now the reigning national freestyle monarch of Trinidad. Just once, back to back, 25 and 26. First man to ever do that. First man to win it twice. And the first man to do it back to back. Crazy. I want you to understand what that competition is. This is the modern extempo. This is the bloodline of Lord Pretender. You're handed a topic on the spot, something nobody could have prepared for. You stand head to head against an opponent and you have to build from nothing. You got to create witty, cutting, perfectly formed bars and dismantle your opponent in front of judges and the crowd. The winner's crowned on that night. That's war. Now somebody's gonna say, but Sarah, that's not battling. That's a competition. No, battle don't always have to be me researching your mother. Battling sometimes can be, here's a subject, you create. And what you create they're directly in competition with what they create. And we're gonna see who's gonna be the best creator. So Preedy didn't just enter it. He owned it twice. So when we speak of who is the greatest Caribbean freestyler of all time, with looking at this off the top, he's one of the cleanest. Given a topic that is never seen and built in the moment, it's the whole art form. And to destroy an opponent. Every single accent didn't have no dub plates pre-cut, no rehearsed bars, ammunition, just a brother, a topic, and a gift. I know that brother too. I've freestyled with that brother. Crazy night in Japan, in Tokyo, Shibuya Square, back to back. Me, Preedy, Trini Gladiator. 3 Caribbean men on the other side of the world doing the only thing we know how to do. This freestyle thing has taken me so many places, and I'm so proud to say that pretty much all of these people that I spoke about, some way, shape, or form, over the years I've met, spoke to, etc. So he's the purest, Preedy's the purest freestyler in this category of what we're speaking on. And I want to speak on the honorary cipher, how I grew up, how I earned my stripes. We're speaking on Caribbean freestyle. So let me just take a little moment to big up people that rocked with me over the time. We used to do a thing called the cipher. We're talking 2000s now, mid-2000s. I want to big up Kosha, Ghanaian. I want to big up Kenya, KMT, Guyanese. Then you had Trini Gladiator, obviously from Trinidad. Jaylene, repping from St. Lucia. Mr. Brown from Grenada. Myself and Adelaide Mackenzie, Jamaica. And every Monday, as well as there were other people that, but we were the main group. Every Monday we'd link up and we'd spend hours in a room just freestyling in this cypher. Just freestyling. The whole diaspora was in that one circle. Lyrics, rhythm and lyrics. Big up Snip, who used to DJ for us as well. It was just bars for bars for bars. What a wonderful experience that was. And we had so much appreciation for this art form. We fell in love with this art form even more there were some off-the-top monsters. Jaylene, I say this all the time, one of the greatest freestylers in the world ever. You would have seen him with Beardy Man or with various people across the world. Me and Lean have toured the world freestyling. And Trini Gladiator never run out of bars. Never run up out of bars. So look these people up. That was Africa and the Caribbean every Monday freestyling in one room. What a wonderful experience and something I'm so honored and proud to say I was a part of. We actually took that show on the road. We called it Whose Rhyme Is It Anyway? And amazing. Some of the greatest freestylers I know in our culture. So, and that's what Cypher is as well. A circle of people, an energy, a family, a unity. It wasn't about views and likes. It was just the room and the memory and the memories. Speaking on memories, let me speak to you about a time where we actually used freestyle to tour the world, tour the country, tour the UK with. Myself, Lean, Shoudo. I came up with this idea. I said, yo, man, what do you think about doing a thing called Freestyle Survival? And them said, what? I said, leave our wallets at home. We'll burn some CDs. People, if you don't know what CDs are, go check out what CDs are. But I'm assuming you know what CDs are. We burnt up a whole pile of CDs, about 100 and something CDs, right? And said, we are going to go to the top of England and leave the wallets at home. We drive empty tank, so we full tank in London. Drive to the top of England and use freestyle to earn money to get back to London. And we spent a week, maybe a week and change, doing this freestyle survival. Some nights we managed to pay for hotels. Some nights we had to sleep in the car. Some nights people took pity on us and said, yo, come in. And some nights we was living luxurious, going for big meals. It was an amazing experience, and I couldn't have done it without my brothers and the most talented people that I knew. So let's break it down. We had Ninja Man, we had Sizzla, Bungee Garlin, Wyclef, and Preedy. I started out wanting to say, almost immediately saying it's a foregone conclusion. It's going to be the man that I've been watching since I was a kid. But I cannot let my heart lie to you. So I went back to the standards that we were looking at. It's got to be off the top. It's got to be built in the moment. And it's got to be used to finish the opponent, your talent. I said Sizzla, the channeler, he was pure in the moment, but channeling is not clashing. Wyclef, the global master off the top, 5 different languages. But performing that gift is not warring with it. Ninja Man, the most feared who ever did it. But sometimes he tended to use pre-written ammunition and a lot of repeats along the time that he wrote before he reached the stage. Bungee Garlin, the man in the moment, genius, as real as anything. But he took the gift to the world. He stacked up the head-to-heads over the years, but in the end, he took that elsewhere, which is amazing. But the one person in that whole list that scored high on every single test, nothing prepared, a topic he'd never heard or seen, clashing somebody directly with a crowd to please, and subjects he built from mid-air, winning the most major competition back-to-back, has to go to Preedy. The crown has to go to Preedy. The greatest Caribbean freestyler of all time. But honestly, you could probably give it to any one of them. You could probably give it to any one of those artists. And artists them, look, I know you. And you know I'm being objective. But I'm not saying that from a distance. I've seen this art form. I've seen bars flying between people. I've been involved in bars flying between people. I've been involved in all of this. I've witnessed it. It's not an opinion, people. However, massive amounts of respect to everybody for checking out Soundboy Saturdays each and every Saturday. I speak on the subjects that most people don't really deal with, and that's okay. But I believe fundamentally, we don't tell our stories. Who the fuck will? So like, share, and subscribe. We got you. I have been Cersei. This is Soundboy Saturday. Massive respect.